Barak Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rachakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. This will be something brief. Dash. I'm sitting here, was watching the up and coming elder Karataza from the head of the Vegas camp, doing a lesson called Getting Hot and Juicy in the East, prophecy speaking loud and clear. And one thing I did notice, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but if you go to his video and you pause his video, you can see it here a little better. You can see here that this is a pipeline that's burning. I believe it's in Israel. Yep, Trans-Israel pipeline was damaged in a rocket strike earlier, currently burning. And if you look in the fire, it looks like the head of a skull. It looks like a skull, And usually skulls are attributed to death. They're attributed to pirates, so on and so forth. And
well as they're
Salakia, trying to get this back to where it's supposed to be. There we go. And that's what it's attributed with. And what it made me think of while I was watching the video, it made me think about something that John Todd said years ago, back in the 80s, that he said that one of the final things that these international banking families want to do is disrupt the whole economic pot, so to speak, of the world. Even their own companies, but still be financially stable enough to where it won't affect them. And pretty much that's what we're seeing right now, with this coastal pipeline, hacking into it, stopping the supply. And then brother Amawan Gabar sent me a video that 2 weeks ago there was a major oil leak, from that. I believe it's that same pipeline, if I'm not mistaken on that. So things are getting, hectic, and shortage of fuel, and the situation that happened over there. I believe you mentioned that also. The situation that happened over there when that ship was stuck and it was disrupting the supply of goods. So what these devils are doing is systematically they're shutting down and collapsing everything. You have these restaurant owners that are very desperate to get workers to come in, because what the international bankers did was they used the government to give unemployment and these stimulus checks to the working class so that they won't go to work, and they'd rather just stay home and make more money than to go and bust their ass on these different jobs. So what's happening is the middle class is being phased out, as we've been speaking about. Businesses are being shut down. Food supplies are being shut down. Your man Kill Shaitan, or Kill States, or whatever you want to call him. He's buying up all types of farmland. They're pushing that fake meat. So on all levels, they're destroying the whole way of commerce, for the common people. And they want the two classes, the super rich and the super poor, which we've been speaking about that also. And this Beyond Meat crap, yep, that's right. The brother KDC put the grinding is low. Yep, and that's that's one of the scriptures we're gonna get to. And shalom to the Akim, in the Aquath, watching, and that's what they want. They want to disrupt everything so that they can have everyone dependent on the government, and whatever the government says, people are gonna have to comply with. It's that old problem, reaction, solution, Hegelian dialectics, pressure from above, pressure from below. However you want to slice it, it all adds up to the New World Order, which is their agenda. This is Ecclesiastes 12:1. Remember now thy creator in the days of thy youth, while the evil days come not, and we're approaching the evil days. Nor the years draw nigh when thou shalt say, I have no pleasure in them. When the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Who are the keepers of the house? These are these financial, watchers, these stockbrokers, I guess you could call them, that watch over stocks, that watch, for the up and coming numbers, and to give a forecast of what products or things on the market are going to sell, where to invest your money into, and so on and so forth. But they're seeing that everything is being disrupted, So it says, in a day when the keepers of the house shall tremble. Why are they going to tremble? Because they're going to see everything falling apart. This is why the scriptures say we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her. It says, and the strong men shall bow themselves, because even the military men, the police, and others are going to be in a bad case, because at the end of the day, nobody works for free. Everybody works for a paycheck. There's no stupid sucker out there that works for free. You may have some people that may do it for a little bit, but after a while, when they can't be sustained, they're going to turn back, and they're going to say to hell with this, and go fend for themselves. And what this whole disruption is going to cause, or can cause, is the idea of desperation. And when people are in a desperate state, things get bad. Matter of fact, let's look up the word desperate. Desperate, feeling, showing, or involving a hopeless sense that a situation is so bad as to be impossible to deal with. And this is pretty much what this whole situation can cause. It can cause a straight up sense of desperation. And when people are in a desperate sense of, or they're in a sense of desperation, there's nothing left but to panic. And when people panic, it's about survival of the fittest. The word panic, sudden, uncontrollable fear or anxiety, often causing wildly unthinking behavior, to where the average person that you would not think, out there would flip out and bug out. They would start bugging out. The coolest head out there, will lose that cool. He'll go from a cool as a cucumber to a hot tamale, on the grill. So this is what's happening right now. It's bringing, this sense of desperation. And as we speak now, there's a lot of gas stations. Forget if Dabo 7, I forget if he said that was it Virginia? I can't remember. Let me see if I can pull the video up just to see if it says it on there. State of emergency declared in Virginia. Yep, after Colonial Pipeline ransomware cyber attack. And what that's causing is people to panic, and they panic buy. And when you panic buy, you go out there wildly and just start buying everything. And then the next person after you, or the next 10 people after you, have nothing that they can grab. And if this whole if there's a gas shortage, what that means is there's going to be a shortage in vehicles moving around. And one of the main vehicles that are moving around is your supply trucks that bring in the groceries and the food and drinks and all of that on a day-to-day basis. So if there's no gas, that means there will be no motion of these trucks. So it's very interesting to see what's going to go down. So we go back to Ecclesiastes 12:3. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease because they are few. And this is what's happening right now. We're witnessing, the grinding ceasing. And they're doing it systematically by giving the working class stimulus checks, unemployment, um, giving them rent moratorium. So what that's doing is that's destroying businesses. That's destroying these landlords that count on the rent coming in to be able to pay their mortgages, to be able to have the upkeep and the keeping of their buildings, their housing and all of that. So this place is finished. It's falling apart on all levels. It's corroded. The corrosion is also dealing with the infrastructure of America that's in bad shape, and it's also dealing with just the moral decay, of being just in a desperate state, or a state of uneasiness. Right? It says, and those that look out the windows be darkened. Why? Because these financial reporters, these stockbrokers and all that, they usually always have a quick comeback, as to what could be done to make money, or what can be done to save this company, or what could be done about this particular stock. They always got a quick comeback. When you watch those financial movies, they show you that, Margin Call and Wall Street and different movies like that. They show you like these guys are usually quick, quick on the draw. Whenever something comes up, they're quick to have a response to it. They get together, they brainstorm and come out with a response by the end of the night, to fix the problem. Well, this problem can't be fixed because this problem is a problem from on high. So it says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. See, and what doors are going to be shut in the streets? These businesses, businesses, and which is the main thing. Different buildings, different homes. The foreclosures at an all-time high. The housing market is in shambles. So things are just falling apart on all levels. And then you have things like this happening over there in Israel. You have the situation going on in Colombia. You had the thing going on in Venezuela. All over the world, there's these uproars of the people, because this is the time when the Heavenly Father is actually visiting this place to bring forth his judgment. Now whether these things are the Heavenly Father causing these things to happen, as far as setting certain things off, or if it's man-made, it's still of the Heavenly Father. He's still making it happen. So it goes on to say, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low. Because if the sound of the grinding is low and there's no jobs, these businesses can't keep their doors open. And a lot of these big businesses, are opting to get rid of the buildings that they normally would pay all this money for, and get rid of that overhead and pay workers from home. But then there's other businesses that can't do that, like the restaurant business. They can't do that because they need people to come out. They need workers to be inside of that restaurant for cleaning, for cooking, for taking orders, for doing all manner of types of jobs, serving drinks, So it's getting really bad out here. It says, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, meaning early in the morning, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And that the music industry is shit, and all of the joy and the mirth of this land is going to be brought down. It's going to be destroyed. Let's see. Isaiah 24:11. There is a crying for wine in the streets, because people are going to be looking for answers. And the answers that they want are answers that make sense, which are biblical. For the most part, when people find themselves in these panic situations, the first thing they start saying, oh God, oh Jesus, and they start looking to the scriptures. They start looking for answers, whether it be the church, whether it be these pastors, preachers, or whatever the case is. They're going to be looking for the truth in these streets. It says, all joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone. This is a good title right here for a lesson. The mirth of the land is gone, you know? And this is what we see happening, you know? And mirth, let's go to Isaiah 24:11. Isaiah chapter 24, verse 11, the word for mirth is mashawash, exultation, joy, rejoicing. Yeah, so all of this rejoicing is going to come to an end. I've never seen this word before. So look at exultation, a feeling of triumphant elation or jubilation, rejoicing. Yeah, so this is when you're at a all-time high, you know, when you're, you know, you got joy, you got happiness, but then you got overjoy, you know, when you're in the spirit of joy. So that whole spirit is being broken down in this society, you know. So that's the word for for mirth, which is a jubil, you know, like a jumping for joy, you know. And the word for joy itself is shamacha, which means joy, mirth, gladness, joy, gaiety, pleasure, joy of God, glad result, happy. So all of this happiness is going to be turned into sadness, you know. So while we see the supply chain breaking down, this is something that John Todd spoke about, that these international bankers wanted to do, because they want to put the world in a needy state, so that they can come in and offer the solution to help them out of that so-called quagmire that they'll find themselves in. And the last precept I'm gonna get is here, Second Ezra 15, and I'll start at 1, but the point is a little further down. Behold, speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Fear not the imagination against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. So basically, we're supposed to just teach the word regardless. Then the Lord goes on to say, behold, saith the Lord, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. And what can bring all four of these at once is a big uproar of the people, and so much anxiety that people will start bugging out, and there'll be total anarchy out here in the streets, because the police could only hold back so many people. But if everybody is in a panic state, they'll overrun the police, you know. So that can very well bring all four of these plagues, you know, at once. It says, for wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. Now let's jump down to the 14th verse. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein. Because remember, as we keep saying, this situation that's happening and that will happen is going to be a worldwide event. That's why, you know, Yahushua said, you know, that, matter of fact, let's get it, because I can't think of it verbatim or even close. So Revelation 3:10, because thou hast kept the word of my patience, I also will keep thee from the hour of temptation, which shall come upon all the world, in the oikoumenic sense, to try them that dwell upon the earth. So this, what's going to happen, is going to be a worldwide event to cause a domino effect to take place across the world, because at the end of the day, it's called a new world order. It's not called a new country order, or a new city order, or a new continent order, you know, or a new hemisphere order. It's called the new world order. They plan on bringing the whole world in subjection. And the faster that they do that, the sooner that Yahushua will be here. You know, because the main thing that they're pushing now is the microchip. You know, everything you see is going that way. They're talking about the credit cards and paper money and different things like that being a thing of the past. And that's why everything is going online. Everything is digitalized. You know, they're pushing the 5G. China got the 6G going right now. They're up to like about 30%, I believe, or 40%, either 30 or 40% capability of the 6G already. So they're moving because everything is they want everything online. So it says, going back to Second Ezra, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. Yeah, because the more you start seeing these things happening, the more or the closer the destruction is coming. It says, and one people shall stand up against another, and swords in their hands. So you're going to have race wars, you're going to have class wars, you're going to have people that were law-abiding citizens, you know, committing heinous crimes because of desperation, going against the police, causing insurrections and seditions against the government, against the police. It says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Why? Because of desperation, because of the prophecies. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. See, we already spoke about the mighty men bowing down in the book of Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. It says, a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. So everything that these devils are doing is very systematic, but you have to realize that this is the Lord doing it on the left-hand side, because Esau is the Lord's sword, you know, and this is what's going down. This is what's happening, and this is what's necessary in order for the prophecies to keep going and for the prophecies to keep being knocked down, so to speak, to go to the next one, you know, somewhat just like a domino effect. You know, one thing knocks down the next, so on and so forth, until the Lord comes and delivers us and destroys this place. So just as watching this video, I noticed that you brothers could, I put this in the description box. You could go and click on it and go watch the brother's video. When you see this thing here, it starts off like that. Let's see if it'll go. Yeah, for some reason it's not working now, Satan. But it starts off, you know, as just a fire, and then as it continues on, you start seeing it looks like a skull, you know, which skull usually represents death. You know, it could represent pirates, so on and so forth. You know, so these devils are busy. They doing their thing, you know, and pretty soon, you know, this whole shithole will go up in flames, which is about time, because this bitch is well overdue. She's overdue for a reign of fire, you know, to take over her. You know, so with that, I pray that you brothers have been edified. And to the next time, I say shalom.